I was gonna record this. I'll start recording now. Um, yeah, this 100%. This we're in the same boat. This fits with it being quick update. Because I just started recording. Notes we have. She has messages from possibly the future. 14 years since she's last been here. She's starting to remember, but people are like messing with her brain. And she has a recording on her phone from the 21st, and it's 39 seconds long. That's all we got so far. We're still rewatching. Let me do this, since this is going to be in a recording as well. It's blocking the whiteboard, though, so. So what happened to Shinpei was 10 years ago, and she seemingly left 14 years ago. And Shinpei's name is in the recording because it flips to that. So, hold on.
Ferry で私の前に座っていた少年。やはりあれがアジロ新平だったのだ。会うわけにはいかない。今もまだ。
What if the call is actually? What if the recording is actually Shinpei?
吉川線。
後ろの首にな、絞められて抵抗したような跡があるって。
ちょっと待ってアラン。警察はバカなのか。被害者の爪には犯人の血や皮膚片が挟まっていることも多い。牛尾ちゃんの爪は調べたのか。
いや、
不可解だな。
似てると思わんか。あの時と。14年前、龍之介が亡くなった時と。
I think that's possible. We were thinking about. We were thinking. Which stream was that? We mentioned the fact that what if he could control his reset? Matt, hold on. Let me rewind. I didn't pick up on this. Pay attention to Ryunosuke. Look at how much blood it is. Is his head still there? There's so much blood. Hold on. Because I'm trying to figure out why, upon remembering this, why would she then go run to her? I'm trying to see if I can see, like, if his head's still attached. There's a lot of blood. I paused at the wrong frame. His head's still there, but there's a ton of blood. Well, there's a lot of blood here. I don't know why she does that. It's not the first time she's done it either. Yeah. The Higashinas, they're 100% covering this up. Like it's a cover up. It's a cover up.
いや先生、あの子は私の友人で。
冒涜しているのはどちらかな。
ヒズル。
Yeah.
騒がせたな。失礼するよ。
申し訳ない。私が変なこと言うたさけ忘れてくれ。
最後に一つ聞きたいことがあるのだが。牛尾は亡くなる前、ドッペルゲンガーを見たと言ってなかったか。
We can confirm that was the case. Do you notice the outline around her? She had like a white outline around her.
元気の定義にもよるが、私の心臓はまだ動いているよ。
ほんま変わってへん。覚えてる？
I think
さ
so.
んのこと。
ああ、
昨日の通夜でね、私がいっつもおむつ替えたんやとか、みんなそんな話してたんよ。なんでこんなことに。牛尾ちゃんは娘の命の恩人。
朝子ちゃん、牛尾は最後まで牛尾やった。しおりちゃんが無事で何よりや。
何を泣いているのだこいつ。三文芝居にヘドが出る。影が。
朝子。
おそらくあそこは殺されている。すでに。
Yeah.
牛尾ちゃんは娘の命の恩人。許せん。朝子の
That's
姿
tough.
アランや
Like that's really
牛尾を
tough.
どれだけ侮辱するつもりか。
I know. It makes me. When was the first time we saw that? The first time we saw that is when we cut back to the Ushio incident, right?
間違いない。私が直接確認した。やはり影が増えている。
どうやら奴らの中にな、影を生み出す影がおる。
違うな。私の知っている影とは。この島で何が起きている？
さあよ、見当もつかない。
こういうのはどうだ。小早川しおりが溺れたのは事故ではなく、影に襲われた。影はしおりを殺して消し去るが、しおりの影は溺れたか弱い少女を演じ、小舟美代に救助された。
Right.
その後、駆けつけた両親を殺害し、影と入れ替えた。お前、泣いてんのか？明日は雪降ら。
真夏に雪など降るか？降るなら雨だろ。だが天気予報では。
Should we make note of this that the old man is illiterate?
情報弱者め。
こいつは
Yeah, it 100%. If that is true, what happens? It's Shiori tried to kill her and not Ushio Shadow, which makes sense because Ushio Shadow didn't seem too bothered with her. I do think so. I do feel like this marks. I absolutely feel like that marks it. But it's hard to say that because does that mean this old man is waiting around every single time? You know what? That could be the case. The old man could be waiting for a phone call, and because on the previous runs Shinpei wouldn't have known, so the phone never rings, he never calls, we never get the outcome we get in this episode. That makes sense to me. That definitely works.
状況を再現すると、やはり小早川しおりは俺に手を出してこない。1時過ぎ、出棺。いいぞ、うまくやってる。
ねえ、新平くん。さっきの話、しおりが影を見たって、みおちゃんから聞いた？
あ、ええ、そうなんです。小さい頃。この二人。
新平くん？
いや、はい、ミオが小さい頃、おばあちゃんから聞いたとかで、すみません、変なこと言うてしもて。
朝子、行こうか。
うん。
そんな。
And then she's still got that weird look. She's eyeing him.
本物の三人はすでに。どこにいるんですか、南雲先生。どんどん手遅れになる。
しんちゃん、大丈夫？
ミオ、一つ聞いてもええかな。お前、昨日履いてたパンツって白か？2年ぶり
に帰ってきて最初に聞くことがそれ！
お前の昨日のパンツの色を真剣に知りたいんや。
どうしてしもたん？しんちゃん！
2周目に影見代に殺された時、偶然にもちらりと見えた。そう、影見代のパンツは白。しかし今朝のミ代のパンツは。
昨日はおちやの後ここに泊まって着替え確かに白やったけど、それが何？
I can't believe they really tied her. I really can't believe they tied her underwear into being able to figure out if this is the right or wrong Mio. It's crazy.
そう、お父さんも知らんの。ほんま、どこ行ったんやろな、お姉ちゃん。
1時半、牛尾の棺が炉に。
Yeah.
その後、終骨まで別室にて昼食。
Hold on. That I had to. Let me.
ミオを守るには。
She says, "Bastard, where did you go?"
そう。
And she's like, "Not even Dad
お父さん
knows."
も知らんの。
Is she looking for Mio?
どこ行ったんやろな、お姉ちゃん。
No, she's looking for Ushio.
牛尾の棺が炉に入る。その後、終骨まで別室にて昼食。
Wh-
気になる
Why?
人に2つの質問をぶつけてみる。問い1、影の病を知っているか。
ああ、階段やろ。さっきも
That's weird.
そんなこと聞かれた。
No, hold on. I want to listen. I need to listen to what she's saying, not what the subtitles are
お
saying.
姉ちゃん、
She's saying sister.
どこ行ったんやろな。
I gotta pause. Why? We. This Mio is right now, present timeline episode Mio. Why would she be asking where her sister is? From the real dad. Ushio's dead. Like, he would have no idea about Ushio's shadow copy being anywhere. That's weird. That's a weird thing. What if Shadow Ushio and Shadow Mio are sisters? Yeah. And it seems like maybe Shadow Mio's just going around looking. Maybe Shadow Mio's been tasked with trying to find Shadow Ushio. Let me keep playing.
お姉ちゃん。
1時半、牛尾の棺が炉に入る。
Okay.
その後、終骨まで別室にて昼食。
Okay.
気になる人に2
I
つの
tried to
質
ask
問
two
をぶつけ
things
て
to
みる。
people that made me curious.
問い1、
First, do you know about the shadow plague? He asked that to Tetsu,
ああ、階段やろ。
and he asked that to
君も
Alan.
そんなこと聞かれたな。
I think someone.
君も同じ
I think someone asked me that too.
知ってるも何も影の病って名前つけたんは私の曽祖父ですよ。
確かにある種のせい。
いるか。
ああ、階段や。
This would have been after. I think someone asked me that too. Of course, the one who gave the name Shadow Plague was my great grandfather. If I'm not mistaken, making certain mental illnesses can occur in a crowd.
問い2、
Second question: Have you seen a big-breasted woman? Yeah. G Cup. He's toasted. Izuru-chan.
私は知らん。
I do not know. He's lying.
ヒズルのこと知ってんのか、新平。
Izuru.
昔うちによう食べに来てくれたんやで。
Defensive.
うちになんちゅうに。
Yeah, he's mad defensive.
ちょっとこれ見てくれへんか。ヒズルに連絡先聞いたらこんなもん渡されてよ。 私には意味がさっぱりやねん。
連絡先南雲先生のこれは
すまん、新平。ちょっとトイレや。
この暗号は南雲先生の標着に出て
I feel like if Ushio would have asked him that, he would remember if Ushio asked him that because it's something that his daughter asked him, his late daughter. Read her book and know her real name. Know her real name too.
もしもし南雲先生ですか？
誰や、お前。
南雲先生じゃない。網代新平と言います。あなた。
そうかい。思ったより早かったな。わしは根津や。根津銀次郎。
I think I'm certain her messages must be from the future. They have to be. Just the way she speaks. She speaks as, was this last week where I was saying this? It might have been somewhere in the 3 hours we were sitting there. But she speaks as a person who has experienced something similar to this before, which is why it doesn't take much for her to be on board. So it makes me feel like she's experienced this before and she has like information that's been given to her, but she's skeptical. But she's very skeptical. And upon interacting more and more, she'll get to a point where she finally believes. But it seems like every single time she gets to the point of believing, it's too late. Except for this run, it feels like she's on board with believing on day one. It does feel that way. Yeah, I read it. I read it. I read it.
動くな。かかしみたいにそこにじっと立ってやよ。すぐ終わるさき。
時間、場所。
Yeah. She's like, she is super duper important. Super important. I feel like figuring out what's going on with her might give you so much more information.
今隣でめっちゃどご言うたで。ほう、何の音や。
So we know a sledgehammer's in the suitcase.
南雲先生、ようやく会えるんだ。
And also, remember what she said at the end of last week? Right, matter of fact, it's right here. Introduce your name to me and I will definitely save you. She didn't like, Shinpei didn't even say that to her. She heard Mio screaming Shin-chan and it was like Shinpei? And then it's just like stuff started to click. Because at this point in time, like, that's why I feel like she might be connected in these reruns too. I feel like she might be connected in the constant going back as well.
聞きたいことあんねやったら、まずはこっちの質問に答えてもらうか。あの暗号の鍵になる単語は2つ。 What I think it is that I think we're on to something where and run to this episode she made a comment that she did say that. She did say that. Oh dang it, what was I gonna say? I think, did I say this already? I might have said it already. I say too much. It feels like it feels like all this was set up in every single run.
言われた通りに名乗ったぞ。俯瞰的に見てもかなりキモくなってしまったが。 どうなる？
She gonna knock herself
こ
out.
の状況で君は普通じゃないね。
I think all of this is set up every single run, but because Shinpei would have had no idea who she was until his encounter with her during the night of the festival, only now does this route open up. It's like you're playing a video game and you've interacted with enough NPCs, you opened up a new route.
君は私を知らなかったな。私の正体は
Yep,
私から名乗る以外に知る術はないが、
yep,
私はまだ名乗っていない。
yep.
君は今日7月22日を体験するのが初めてではない。
It makes me feel like she's encountered this.
のではなかろうか。
Either she has or Ryunosuke
つま
did.
り君はタイムトラベラーだ。
Because making the jump to time traveler is super far. It's super far. I feel like she might have. She is too. She is. And we know she thinks a lot. She's always upside down. I don't know. Let me jump back to episode 1 really fast. I'm gonna jump back to episode 1 really quick. Where did they have the Yep, right here.
前にかかった注文は
と見られてる気するって。
I just want to like confirm it.
ペルゲンガー的な。
空を舞ん影相性。
誰やっけ？
ネズさん、漁師の。
影の病言うやっちゃ。
影？
この島に伝わる。
So that means at this point he would have already been in contact with her. But this is the first run. This first run we can't even count.
影の病にかかったら影を見るようになる。影を見たもんは死ぬ。
It's like it's like the first run doesn't even count. There's something up with that too.
そんで殺したもんのふりしてその家のもんも皆殺しにする。そういう言い伝えや。 せやさけ影の闇人は昼子様にお祓いしてもろたとかわしのじいさんが言うとったわ。
なんだ今の。
ねえ。
Yep, 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 yep.
なんだ
See that? Phone. See that? Phone.
ちゃん。私もな、ちっちゃい頃おばあちゃんから。
He's in contact with her, but Shinpei has no clue.
でもなんかそういう迷信やろ。
Now you know this. Hold on.
だけどな、私見たんよ。お姉ちゃんの影。お姉ちゃんが亡くなる3日
If Nezu was down with this the whole time, that means Shadow Mio got the drop on Nezu too?
その時、あれ見て、ミオ。
Because they were up in the mountains. Nezu would have been up there too.
アホか。言うてええ冗談と悪い冗談。
心配。
ああ。
しくじった。
見よ。
いいか。よく聞け。あいつは。
There's not going to be any way to figure out what the heck she could have been saying.
お父さん、よう言うてたわな。お皿洗って後片付け終わるまでが料理やって。
You know what I want to look at? Hold on. From here.
あいやあれごめんなさいこれそのすいませんでした
大丈夫か？ずいぶんうなされていたが、悪い夢でも見たのかい？
夢この人鉄砲で撃たれたことってあります？
は？君、本当に大丈夫か？
So we are to assume
俺この人にビンタされるの初めてじゃない
that
よな
they had this conversation on the boat as well,
映画の夢見てて
right?
7月22日どういうことだ俺は23日にミオと一緒にヒルコ様へ行ってミオがミオに殺されたバカバカしいあんなの夢に決まってる
She did say you didn't know me on the boat. She did say that.
南雲龍之介沼男和歌山市を舞台にしたホラーミステリー家族や友人が瓜二つの偽物に入れ替わっているという妄想に取りつかれた少女が主人公
Yeah.
のストー
The
リー
Are You Okay? Should-
こんなのを読みながら眠ってしまったか
We yeah, we don't get to see that at the beginning of this, do we?
ちゃんと私の
俺いやあれごめんなさいそんなつもりは
Yeah, we don't get to see it.
でした変な夢見たせいで危うく人生終了するとこだった落ち着けこんな時は自分を俯瞰で見て落ち着けビンタされる生まれて初めてだよな落ち着いてきた
Just trying to see if there's any other scenes.
和歌山県
I'm trying to see if there are any other scenes of her.
人ヶ島人口およそ700人
We do know that either in this episode or the next episode, we walk past her in the
観光
alley.
と漁業で成り立つ
We know that.
俺は2年ぶりにこの故郷に帰ってきた
So that means that man right there,
幼馴染の
he's a shadow.
小船牛尾の葬儀に参列するために
Yeah, she's talking to someone in the alleyway. Is it Nezu? Could she be leaving a recording for herself? Does that ever happen again?
ミオ
That happens in episode 2. Okay.
ちょっと汗かいたから水浴びしようか思って
元気そうで
Can we speed this up a little bit?
大
はい東京はどう渋谷行った渋
いや報告夏休みは稼ぎ時だもんな
She's on the phone in the alleyway.
谷知らん人みたいに
今は観光客を
We never get to see her in.
めっちゃ標準語や
Do we ever get to see her in the alleyway from another vantage point?
悪い夢を
No,
見た
right?
ああ
She's on the phone there. I love the opening. Can we go back here?
あの男影あのメッセージの信憑性が一つ高まった
What's up? Yes. I finished. I'm doing something else. I think she's talking. Yeah, she can't be talking to Nezu at this point. So who? I know. You're right. Because Nezu doesn't have a phone, right? No, he doesn't have a phone. She gives him a phone. So who is she talking to? No. Yes, please. Yeah, he doesn't have a phone. Like, he's illiterate enough that he can't tell whether it's raining, snowing in the news. Unless that's another clue. He says, no. She's either talking to someone else or recording stuff for herself. It's either or. She's off the she was on the phone when she left the boat. She got off the phone and then she got back on the phone. And the subs are wrong with that right there. Yeah, she disbelieved. Let me go back. No, you know what I think it is? You know what I think it is? I think the idea of that she disbelieves things until it actually gets proven to her. So it feels like things have to happen in order for her to get on board. Like, I think by the end of this episode, she's on board. But at this point, she's like, Shinpei? And it makes sense. And she's just like, nah. But then she hears him because if we think about it, we didn't see her at the funeral in the first one. But if the first run and the second run are so different, we don't see her at the funeral of the first one because none of those events, they happen differently. So in the second run, she only goes to the funeral. Yeah, she only goes to the funeral and has this interaction because of the whole Shinpei. Looks at the sign Ushio. He said, Ushio, maybe I should go. That's what that feels like. That's why she's not at the funeral in the first run. That makes sense. That makes sense. And it also just like, it further confirms the end of last episode. The end of episode 5 where she's just like, where she's laying there and she's sitting there and she's seeing everything happening at the shrine where she's just like, damn, I kind of believed a little bit too late. Like she got on board too late. It felt maybe at that point in time because you know what it is? If Shinpei never gets in contact with her, hold on. Yeah, let me go back. If Shinpei never gets in contact with her, she never believes. I think that's the thing. She never believes. She never fully believes, and it always takes until she dies, or the run just ends up resetting on her, or something crazy ends up happening. She never ends up believing. I think now she finally believes. And I'm wondering what she means by I'm starting to remember.
よくわかったな。カリキリマサヒト。
まあ綺麗になって
You remember?
年ぶりやろか。
14年になるな。影を踏んでも平気。
もうそんなに経ちますか。
こいつは影じゃない。小舟牛尾とはまさか養殖小舟の。
ああ、昨日海の事故でね。もしかして牛尾ちゃんのこと誰かから聞いて。
いや。
ほなどうして島に帰ってきたわけとちゃうんでしょう。
ああ、今東京で。
おっと待って、当てさせて。
He cut her off. She was about to give us some information.
ふつと思い出してきたぞ。
もしかしてお医者さん。
私はお前のことが生理的に無理だった。そして現在進行形で無理だ。
またまた嘘ばっかり。
遺憾ながら真実だ。
What does she mean by that?
わかりますかこの人。驚いたら飽きませんよ。実はね、前にこの島の。
Right. I'm really thrown off by the fact where she says, "You remember," huh? And she just keeps letting him talk. Like, you remember.
中学2年の時。私は養殖小舟。
I might run this conversation back again.
アランには2人の娘がいた。牛尾とミオ。アランの奥さんはミオを産んですぐに亡くなった。アランが働いている間、客たちが子供の面倒を見ていた。これは絵本とちゃう。
そんなん読んだらあかんで。なんでずるい。ほな、私のとっておき、オリジナルのお話聞かせちゃろか。オリジナル？
おお、な牛尾。ひずるの新作やで。
昔々ある島に。
死は誰にでも訪れる。
Well, it seems like she had her story even before the shadow people thing happened to her. Catch that? If all her books are around the same thing.
なんてよ、落ちたてかえ。
どうしました？
ミオとシンペイが海に落ちたって。ちょっと遅れるらしいですわ。
And right there, that confirms that that is the Shinpei.
ちょっと待とか。
アラン、今の新平というのは。
ああ、ひずるはもう島出とった酒知らんわな。私の親友の息子でね、網代新平という男の子を引き取ったんよ。
網代新平。
10年前かな。
Whoever left that recording for her left his name.
亡くなられてね。他に身寄りがのうていろいろ当たったんやけど。
失礼。
ひずる。
Whoever left the recording.
フェリーで私の前に座っていた少年。やはりあれが網代新平だったのだ。会うわけにはいかない。今はまだ誰一人信用することはできない。
待ってくれ、ひずる。
吉川線。
うん。牛尾の首にな、絞められて抵抗したような跡があるって。
ちょっと待ってアラン。警察はバカなのか。被害者の爪には犯人の血や皮膚片が挟まっている。
Also, this is information I didn't know Alan knew.
牛尾ちゃんの爪は調べたのか。
いや、
不可解だな。
似てると思わんか。あの時。
He left the island first, yeah.
14年前、龍之介が亡くなった時と。
どけ！
Hold on.
似てると思わんか。あの時と。 之助が亡くなった時と。
どけ。
あおいおい、あんた何やっとんねん。
うるせえボケ。
なんやと逮捕するで、おい。
一見して異常はない。だがこの死に化粧は誰が？
ああ、ひし形委員の看護師さんや。
何をしている。死者への冒涜だぞ。
いや先生、あの子は私の友人で。
think
冒
so.
涜しているのはどちらかな？
ヒズル。ヒズル。
騒がせたな。失礼するよ。
He gave her a look like she knows too much. That was like a you know too much look. Like, why are you acting this
最後に
way?
一つ聞きたいこと
You would only act this way if you had pertinent information.
ドッペルゲンガーを見たと言ってなかったか？
There's so much nuance.
ベル。
ヒゼ
There's so much
磯
nuance.
金。磯金朝。
And also, I want to know, why did she have a white outline right there? No one else in frame had a white outline but her. But we know that she's a shadow person. Why? Maybe because it's her friend?
私の心臓はまだ動いているよ。
ほんま変わってへん。覚えてる？牛尾ちゃんのこと。
ああ、
昨日の通夜でね、私がいつもおむつ替えたんやとか、みん
And-
なそんな話してたんよ。なんで
Those in quotes too.
なんでこんなことに。牛尾ちゃんは娘の命の恩人。
朝子ちゃん、牛尾は最後まで牛尾やった。しおりちゃんが無事で何よりや。
何を泣いているのだこいつ。三文芝居にヘドが出る。影が。
朝子。
おそらくあそこは殺されている。すでに。牛尾ちゃんは娘の命の恩人。許せん。あさこの姿で
They do.
アランや牛尾をどれだけ侮辱するつもりか。
Running it back.
あさこの姿でアランや牛尾をどれだけ侮辱するつもりか。
What's this comment
小
say?
早川家の3人がみんな影やと。
ああ、間違いない。
What is
私は直接
YBR?
確認した。やはり影が増えている。
どうやら奴らの中にな、影を生み出す影がおる。
違うな。
Someone's
私
leaving
の
a
知っている
comment
影とは
about
この島で何が起きている。
さ
they left this comment, but I can tell they never finished the stream because later in the stream I say exactly what this comment
小
says.
早川しおりが溺れたのは事故ではなく影に襲われた。
I guess him having the conversation with Shiori.
消し去るがしおりの影は
Yeah, she
溺れた
does.
か弱い少女を演じ
I guess by having the conversation with Shiori saves him from being copied at the
その
funeral.
駆けつけた両親を殺害し、
Shinpei now cannot go to Shiori's house. Can't go.
お前、
But now
相手の
all this leaves us with is
明日は勇気フラ。
when will Shinpei get
雪
copied?
など降るか。
There's so many. That's now that's a new like variable on the table. Like he can get copied at any point now.
情報弱者
We had 2 guaranteed spots where we knew he could get copied.
私の二台
Now
の
we
携
don't
帯
know.
電話だ。もしそれが鳴ったら私に知らせろ。あなたに頼みたいことがある。
What was her last words she said to him? I have a
頼みたい
request
こ
for
と
you.
がある。
前回
Her footsteps mark the middle of the episode as well. Literally, her footprints are literally the middle part of the episode. Like legit, they're literally like the exact middle of the episode. I feel like that's not done on that's not done by accident. Yeah, it's not very obvious.
前回の葬儀をリピートする記憶だけを頼りに同じ動き同じ会話しおりちゃん自分そっくりの女の子を見たんやって気ぃつけなそれ影っていう
He had this conversation in a different spot. He had this conversation in a different spot. Cause he first time he had this conversation, wasn't it at the front gate?
お化けかもわからんもしまたその子が現れても絶対近づいたらあかんええか
How did he manage that?
状況を再現するとやはり小早川しおりは俺に手を出してこない1時過ぎ出棺いいぞ
Yeah, she didn't approach because you already put up a red flag to her. Yeah. And she was leaving a recording for herself as well.
みおちゃんから聞いた
あええそうなんです小さい頃この二人
新平くん
Now, question is, Shinpei says he redid the funeral gesture by gesture. Did he have this conversation with them before? And now, because he knows how to tell what's a shadow, he's able to get more information from this interaction.
どこにいるんですか南雲先生どんどん手遅れになる
Damn, I wish I knew exactly what time it was.
大丈夫
It's not 1:30 yet. It's after 1. We do know what time it is.
お前昨日履いてたパンツって白か
2年ぶりに帰ってきて最初に聞くことがそれ
お前の昨日のパンツの色を真剣に知りたいんや
どうしてしもたんしんちゃん
2週目に影宮に殺された時偶然にもちらりと見えたそう影宮のパンツは白しかし今朝のミオのパンツは
昨日はおちやの後ここに泊まって着替え
That's crazy. We really are using her underwear as a plot device.
それが何
ミオがコピーされたのは昨日それ自体を防ぐことはできない倒すしかないミオを守るには
I would put an end to Shadow Mio that night she comes to stand in front of the house. I would get the drop on her and just okay. I would just put it away. I would just smack her shadow.
1時半牛尾の棺が炉に入るその後
Yeah, she's always in the school
別に
uniform.
て昼食
We've yet to see her change
気
clothes
になる人に
because she never gets close enough to Mio in order to update.
影の病を知っているか
Seemingly, the shadows can only change their clothing when they update.
同じようなこと聞かれたな
知ってるも何も影の病って名前つけたんは私の曽祖父ですよ
確かにある種の精神疾患が集団的に発生したのは事実だね
問いに胸の大きい女性を見たか
あはは見たよ見たジーガ
それもしかしてひずるちゃんやない
私は知らんね
Yeah, he's hot. He's pissed off.
昔うちによう
Sus.
来てくれたんやで
うちになんちゅうニヤみせ
そや新平ちょっとこれ見てくれへんかひずるに連絡先聞いたらこんなもん渡されてよ私には意味がさっぱりやねん
連絡先
This really feels like a video game. From getting certain interactions at certain times, We got the phone from Tetsu, which we don't have right now yet. We don't have yet.
先生の漂着に出てくる
And we got the codes to be able to contact Ryu. Izuru. I remember the first time Usho sees her shadow. The shadow is wearing the same clothes, but then the shadow shows up later in the same bathing suit Usho dies in. Thought it was strange Shadow Ushio had changed clothes. We've seen Ushio in different outfits and it doesn't make sense. She's Shadow Ushio is wearing the bathing suit in which she died in. But they saw her
あなた
in the same outfit that she was wearing when they were cleaning up the beach. But then we saw her at the festival and she was in traditional garb from the first glimpse that we get to see of her. I don't know. Maybe Shadow Ushio, because we know Shadow Ushio is not with the other ones. Maybe she like sneaks up on Ushio, continues the update maybe. Yeah, but when he caught up to her, she wasn't in the traditional garb. She was in the bathing suit that regular Ushio died from, or OG Ushio died from.
あのもしもしもし
How did he know to go to the bathroom? When Shadow Mio copied him, how did Shadow Mio copy him? When did she copy him? Yeah.
ネズさん着きました
Just running up on her when she's unsuspecting, updating and leaving.
動くな。かかしみたいにそこにじっと立ってよよ。すぐ終わるさき。
時間場所襲うならアランが
She would have had to copy him at the funeral since he's wearing the same suit.
トイレとは君
なんでよここどうし
Yeah. It could have been earlier in the day too, whenever he got dressed maybe. She could have copied him because Mio would be wearing her school uniform as we see to the funeral.
南雲先生ようやく会えるんだ
もしも君本当に戻れたのなら
So it's like she could be around and he wouldn't know. Get the copy of him, then dip back out when Mio shows back up again, maybe something like that.
それになんで先生は
Yeah, it's confusing trying to keep track of everything.
山ほどある
It really is.
ネズさんですね
なんや初対面のはずやけどな。
あそうかいやあなたも影のことを知って
He knows his name because of Run 1.
まずはこっちの質問に答えてもらうか。
That was in the future. How does she know if so that if she speaks to her her in the past, she'll know him? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
だが君は人間だ
南雲先生
One thing is her recordings. Who is her recordings from? That's I feel like that's the most important question outside of like the mystical stuff of where did he get his powers from. Like the most important one is who's leaving her the recordings? Is it actually her? Is it someone else?
どうなる
この状況で君は普通じゃないね事実は小説よりもキナリとバイロンは言った 私はロマン主義ではないが、あらゆる可能性を監視
Yeah, she had like a tiny bit of foresight. Think so.
ありがとうございます。
It might only be triggered in dangerous situations, maybe. So far, we haven't seen it activated, and she hasn't been put in a life or death situation yet.
私から名乗る以外に知る術はないが、私はまだ名乗っていない。君は今日7月22日を体験するのが初めてではない。何度も繰り返しているのではなかろうか。つまり君はタイムトラベラーだ。
Let me go back. I'm gonna go back to the end of towards the end to middle during that whole conflict. Did I go past it? No, it's right here. Let me go back a little bit more. Yeah, he is very thankful someone believes him. Yeah, even though all these people around, it has to be a very lonely moment. He has literally a come. When she says you're the parent, I wonder what she means. Like, after watching this episode, what do you think she means? The original creator of the shadows? Maybe. During a conversation with us, I think she said something about the shadows. As if this is a new thing. Let's go back. Let's go back.
ベルゲンそれがなったら私だが天気
影と
の影はこういうのは間違いない。アランやフシオを
Right here.
それだけ侮辱するつもりか。
小早川家の3人がみんな影やと。
ああ、間違いない。私が直接確認した。やはり影が増えている。
どうやら奴らの中にな、影を生み出す影がおる。
違うな。私の知っている影とは。この島で何が起きている？
I missed that line so many times. Holy crap.
こういうのはどうだ？
I've missed that line every single time we watch this. I've missed that line.
で何が起きている？
Yeah, every single time we watch this, I missed that line.
私が直接確認した。
Like, this whole copying, shadows making copies of themselves are different.
影を生み出す影がおる。
違うな。私の知っている影とは。 この島で何が起きている？
さあよ、見当もつかない。
こういうのはどうだ？小早川しおりが溺れたのは事故ではなく。
What happened on this island? What do you mean what happened? I thought you were the event that
しお
happened.
りの影は溺れた
Oh my gosh. Wait, what?
救助された。
その後、駆けつけた両親を殺害し、影と入れ替えた。
Maybe.
お前、泣いてんのか？明日は雪降ら。
真夏に雪など降るか。
あいた。
Haine.
降るなら。
Haine is mother, right?
だが天気予報では明日は快晴だ。
And mother got sealed away when?
私の2代目の携帯電話だ。
How long ago did mother get sealed away?
あなた
When did they say that last? That was last week, but when? I feel like it was mentioned possibly last week. I feel like Higashida said something whenever mother shows up in the sky around here, doesn't he? Like she's like resurrected or something.
千の人間を食べて回復したようだな、彼女が。ご覧。
No, doesn't say anything there. Island's being swallowed. Damn, I can't scrub through this episode to find that one piece of dialogue. I'd have to rewatch this whole thing. If Haine is the shadow that she had experience with,
私のエンディング。
it definitely doesn't feel like some big extravagant event happened with Hizuru. It doesn't feel like that, or maybe she doesn't remember.
すまない新平君。もっと早くに私
Yeah.
のメッセージを
Yep, if only I had believed that message earlier.
もはや手遅れた。何もかも。
Do the bubbles only show up in regards to her?
あの時ああしてればよかったとか、なんであんなこと言うてしもたんやとか、後悔ばっかりです。
Damn. You know what we're gonna have to do?
でも今
Yeah, I think her memory is spotty. It feels like she doesn't remember things until she comes in contact with them, or she returns to a place.
俺を撃ってください。殺してください。この俺を。俺は死んで何回もやり直してるんです。
I think what we're gonna have to do one of these days is literally watch the series from episode 1 without hopping around or doing anything and just take notes on everything. Just let it run through.
無駄なこと。
まったく最後の一発なんだぞ。
信じてください。先生。
あなたの影に飲まれなさい。
もしも君本当に戻れたのなら私に君の名を名乗りたまえ。必ず助ける。
She 100% said, I should have listened to the message earlier.
暗い。いない。誰もいない。
I don't know. The big shadow has like 2 bodies too. It's like 2 bodies with 1 head.
俺また俯瞰してるのか。やめろ。やめろ。
An interesting thing to note as well is he like timeline hopping? Because he died and he's getting to view things after his death.
なんだあの赤い光。女の子。今目があった。
新平。
後ろへの。
気をつけて。力には限りがある。夏祭りにみんな死ぬ。
今度ははっきり聞こえるぞ。後ろどこや。
止められるんは新平だけ。ミオのこと守っちゃってね。東京はどう？
Also, you know it's something? You know, it just smacked me in my face. Wasn't I stuck on the fact that what? I gotta pause. Wasn't I stuck on the fact back in episode 2 that the guy from the shop that he talked to when he asked about her, didn't he like, I think we confirmed that possibly being like Shadow Shin running around, but I remember being stuck on the fact of what if different timelines are merged together. We kind of let it go, but now I find myself back here. I don't know. We could be overthinking it. That's 100%. Like if we look at the Discord, look at how much you've typed. Look at how much you've typed. Yeah. I just think it's a weird concept. I understand it. I understand it, but it's so weird to have Shinpei like go like his mannerisms of previous times that he's come back before, for his body to do that but nothing be happening in those moments. Like that's weird to me. I get it, but it's weird. I don't know. See that? I don't know. At that point, Shadow Shin would have no idea who she is. Like, cause Shinpei didn't know who she was at that point. At that point, at this point during the run, Shinpei had no idea who she was. All she was the big boob lady that his face slammed into on the boat. He knew nothing else about her. Unless this is like a hive, like unless this truly is like a hive mind thing, and the events from the funeral with Shiori watching has him interested in trying to figure out what was happening. I don't know. Run 1, there has to be something has to be up with Run 1. Why does Run 1 seemingly not count? It feels like Run 1 doesn't count. Everything else after Run 1, Run 1. It's weird. It feels like nothing, like Run 2 on is what counts. Run 1 just seems like the trial run in a sense. None of the details from Run 1 even Run 1 doesn't even matter really, because our resets are happening from the second run. Mhm. They all seem surprised by her appearance at the funeral in the second run. She was being abrasive too. Like she wasn't being like whenever she was saying things, she was like standing out.
しおりちゃん、自分そっくりの女の子を見たんやって。気ぃつけな。それ。
Also, so far, this means that So, like he hasn't talked to So yet. Well, if he says he did everything, like if he did everything by the books of how it happened before, he had these conversations with So as well. But right now, all of this time he would have been talking to So. He's not with So. He's with Izuru.
うまくやってる。
ねえ、新平くん。さっきの話、しおりが影を見たって、みおちゃんから聞いさっきのねえ、新平くん。さっきの話、しおりが影を見たって。
Could this hold on? Could this conversation be new? I'm just thinking from his I'm just thinking from his gasp. Could this conversation not have happened before? That's why he's so off put by it? Or like caught off guard maybe?
新平くん？
いや、はい、ミオが小さい頃、おばあちゃんから聞いたとかで、すみません、変なこと言うてしもて。
あさこ、行こうか。
そんな。3人とも影。
Matter of fact, yeah, this conversation wouldn't have happened. This is a new conversation that only happened in this run. Because he didn't know that they were already shadows, idiot. He didn't know. Like he had no idea that they were shadows until right then and there. Which means that conversation never happened before. That's new information to him.
昨日履いてたパンツって白か。
2年ぶりに帰ってきて最初に聞くことがそれ。
お前の昨日のパンツの色を真剣に知りたいんや。
どうしてしもたん、しんちゃん。
2週目に影見代に殺された時、偶然にもちらりと見えた。そう、影見代のパンツは白。しかし今朝のミオのパンツは。
昨日はおちやの後ここに泊まって着替え。
Who'd have thunk?
確かに白やったけど、それが何？
ミオがコピーされたのは昨日。それ自体を防ぐことはできない。倒すしかない。ミオを守るには。
そう。お父さんも知らんの。ほんま、どこ行ったんやろな。お姉ちゃん。
The fact that they're looking for Shadow Ushio, which makes they were looking for her at the end of, and either at the end of last episode, episode 5, or they were looking for in episode 5. Now that I think about it, they were looking for her in episode 5. That's why they grabbed her up on by the shoulder. Mio was. Why they're looking for her, we don't know.
私の曽祖父ですよ。
確かにある種の精神疾患が集団的に発生したのは事実だね。
問いに、胸の大きい女性を見たか。
あはは、見たよ見た、ジーガ。
それもしかしてヒズルちゃんやない？
私は知らんね。
ヒズルのこと知ってんのか、新平。昔うちによう食べに来てくれたんやで。
うちに？なんちゅうニヤミせ。
そうや新平、ちょっとこれ見てくれへんか。ヒズルに連絡先聞いたらこんなもん渡されてよ。私には意味がさっぱりやねん。
連絡先、南雲先生の。これは。
すまん新平、ちょっとトイレや。
この暗号は南雲先生の漂着に出てくる解けない暗号、タマムシュット。
Let me check the main chat really fast. Help people know that there's a summertime rendering section in the Discord. Oh, I'm live, so if you're hearing me, yeah, we're in the summertime rendering section in the Discord under ongoing series. Oh, good, no worries. Yeah, no, I could have replied earlier.
南雲先生じゃない。網代新平と言います。あなた。
そうかい。思ったより早かったな。わしは根津や。
Apparently, they covered 6 chapters in this one episode, and dialogue was cut. Interesting.
ちょっとした知り合いでな。どうやって。
I don't want to I don't want to know the cut dialogue just yet because I want to see how the adaptation's gonna do. Like, I want to see if the adaptation is going to tell me a great story, and then I want to double back and figure out what was cut. Because also, like, adapting this, they might have cut some information that might have made it easier to figure out. Easier in hindsight. But it might have been just extra information that if you just get rid of this one little thing, makes it a world more difficult and more mysterious. But then you're going to get nuggets a little bit later, maybe. I don't want to know it's cut.
Moshi, Nezu-san, 着きました。こっからどうすれば。
動くな。かかしみたいにそこにじっと立ってよよ。すぐ終わるさき。
So at this point, Ushio hasn't been cremated yet. Like, they're still waiting for her ashes. Because on his phone it said 1342 or something like that. So that means it's like 1 something. It's not 1:30 yet. Or maybe it just is 1:30. I don't remember what time it was. I know she keeps a sledgehammer in there.
南雲先生、ようやく会えるんだ。
もしも君、本当に戻れたのなら。
Shadow people suck. There's no way. They talked way too much in front of him. Like, with his ability to be able to time travel, they said way too much in front of him. Like, super cocky. Dumb shadows.
影のことを知っているのか。聞くことは山ほどある。ネズさんですね。
なんや、初対面のはずやけどな。
What happens to Nezu from the 22nd to the 23rd? Because if what the beginning of this episode is implying that, you know what? No. Because all that stuff happened in run 1. But we've seen them on the phone, so they would have been talking. Like, what happens to Nezu up in the mountains? Does Mio just kill him and then kill her too? I guess so.
だが君は人間だ。
南雲先生。
Fabian, have you read ahead yet? I know you were itching to.
網油の網によりしろの城、慎む平で網代新平君へってお願いします。つまりファンです。先生の出された本全部持ってません。言われた通りに名乗ったぞ。俯瞰的に見てもかなりキモくなってしまったが、さあどうなる。
この状況で君は普通じゃないね。事実は小説よりもきなりとバイロンは言った。
I do appreciate the fact that we can't just spam these, so each run counts so much. Nope, but I've been spoiled. Poop. Sucks.
ありがとうございます。
今から述べることが病犬ならば正してくれたまえ。
We have so much right now
君は私を知らなかったな。
that is just like up in
私
the
の
air.
正体は私から名乗
We have
る
no
以外に
idea.
術はないが、私はまだ名乗っていな
It's
い。
tough. Toughy.
君は今日7月22日を体験
I
する
really,
のが
I
初め
like
て
the
だ。
idea
何
possibly.
度も繰り返しているのではなかろうか。
You know what?
つまり
Do I let go of the whole she maybe experienced this time dilation previously? With the information that the shadows are different than when she was here? Okay, it's just some panels of what's to come. She 100% says that. 100%. Let me do this. Shadows are different from 14 years ago. Oh, it's too loud. You can't hear me now? Oh, that sucks. I haven't been audio balancing. That should be better. We haven't listened to the ED though. We've kind of just been hopping around from episode to episode, just trying to see if we could remember some things. I've been recording for an hour and 22 minutes. We already were talking maybe for 15, 20 minutes. Before I started recording because I forgot to. So we've been here damn near 2 hours already. Like me at this desk, almost 2 hours. Post stream. This is like one of the biggest things that we're picking up from. I'm skipping past all this. I'm going back to this conversation. Is the episode still good for you, the episode audio? I turned it down for me.
Yo, what website are you using?
9 Anime. Let me drop the link. I'll drop it in here. Linked. There you go. It's in the summer. If you're not in the summertime rendering section, it's in there.
14年になるな。影を踏んでも平気。
もうそんなに経ちますか。
こいつは影じゃない。小舟牛尾とはまさか養殖小舟の。
昨日海の事故でね。もしかして牛尾ちゃんのこと誰かから聞いて。
いや。
ほなどうして島に帰ってきたわけとちゃうんでしょう。
ああ。今東京で。
おっと待って、当てさせて。
She was gonna say something because we still don't know the reason why she's coming back.
私はお前のことが生理的に無理だった。そして現在進行形で無理だ。
またまた嘘ばっかり。
遺憾ながら真実だ。
アランさん。
She says that she's starting to remember.
わかりますかこの人。驚い
I don't know.
実はね、前にこの島の。
南方ひずるです。
ああ、もう私に言わせてくださいよ。
ひずるってあのひずるか。
ご無沙汰だな、アラン。中学2年の時。私は養殖小舟の常連だった。アランには2人の娘がいた。
Is there more with their relationship?
アランの奥さんはミオを産んですぐに亡くなった。アランが働いている間。
Or is it because this is her funeral, like she kind of like drifted away?
これは絵本とちゃう。
because Alan's the only person that she kind of didn't snark at when they walked up to her.
オリジナルのお話聞かせちゃろか。
おお、ええな、牛尾。ひずるの新作やで。
昔々ある島に。死は誰にでも訪れる。なあ、龍之介。14年だ。それだけの時が流れれば、誰が死んでもおかしくはない。
なんてよ、落ちたてかえ。
どうしました？
What time?
ミオと新平が海に落ちた。
Did you say that before, Wushan? What time?
らしいですわ。
あれ大変や。ほな、ちょっと待とか。
アラン、今の新平というのは。
ああ、ひずるはもう島出とった酒知らんわな。私の親友の息子でね、網代新平という男の子を引き取ったんよ。
Like, between the 14 years, anyone could die in that time?
ご両親が船の事故で亡くなられてね。他に身寄りがのうていろいろ当たったんやけど。
失礼。
ひずる。
はて。
フェリーで私の前に座っていた少年。やはりあれが。
And shipwrecks usually wash up on shore, right? Relating that to like the god of their island.
誰一人信用することはできない。
待ってくれ、ひずる。
吉川線。
うん。後ろの首にな、絞められて抵抗したような跡があるって。
ちょっと待って、アラン。警察はバカなのか。被害者の爪には犯人の血や皮膚片が挟まっていることも多い。牛尾ちゃんの爪は調べたのか。
いや、
不可解だな。
似てると思わんか、あの時と。
Do they in that conversation? That's what they're implying.
龍之介が亡くなった。
During this conversation, that's what they're implying. Because his parents died 10 years ago. And they got, like... So it's like Ryunosuke died 14 years ago. Shin's parents died 10 years ago. Meaning Shinpei possibly couldn't even have been here, maybe? When all this stuff happened, so he's unaffected? Hold on. I'm... Too much. The incident was 14 years ago. For sure. Yeah, he probably came back to the island once they died, so that was 10 years ago. 4 years after the incident. Yeah.
おお、ええな、牛尾。ひずるの新作やで。
昔々ある島に。死は誰にでも訪れる。なあ、龍之介。14年だ。それだけの時が流れれば、誰が死んでもおかしくはない。
なんてよ、落ちたてかえ。
どうしました？
ミオと新平が海に落ちたって。ちょっと遅れるらしいですわ。
あれ大変や。ほな、ちょっと待とか。
アラン、今の新平というのは。
She had no idea who Shinpei was. You don't know him because he left the island first. That doesn't make sense. Like, if she was born and raised on the island, even if Shinpei was like a little kid, she would have at least known him, right? I'm confused by the wording. Now, if they would have said that you left first, yeah, he's the same age as Ushio. He would have been the same age. Ushio, I think, was 3, right? Well, no. The incident happened 14 years ago. We don't know when that flashback was when little Ushio was at the table. But even still, if the incident was 14 years ago, are we saying she left the island 14 years ago? Yeah, because the priest says, how long has it been? 14 years? Yeah, she left the island 14 years ago. But he left the island first. But then he came back. It's this weird thing that they both, at some point in time, lived on the island, were around the same people, and have no idea who each other are. Like, that feels weird, especially if Shinpei's parents was Alan's best friend. You think they would have at least gone to his restaurant, ate there. They would be friendly enough. Like Ushio and Shinpei would have been like friends enough, maybe. Yeah, we don't know. He couldn't have been that old though. That's the whole thing. How old is Shinpei? 14 years ago? He's not. Shinpei's not in his 20s. Like, how old is Shinpei? He would have been a toddler. Like, Shinpei's not old. He's the same age as Ushio. How old is Ushio? Damn, how old is Shinpei? That's something that I don't think we know his age. Or we don't know why he left in the first place. I'm guessing 18, maybe 19, possibly. I don't want to look it up because if they haven't told us yet, I don't want to then look up and find out their age. Yeah, school off the island, college, work, it could be anything. How old is Mio? Is Mio still in middle school? I think that's a good barometer. How old is Mio? Mio's either in middle school or in high school, right? Because So feels the same age as Shinpei. And Mio is definitely younger than Shinpei, but So is in love with Mio. Granted, I know Japan's weird, but still. Like, their age doesn't seem that far apart. It is a very weird phrasing for that sentence, yeah. Can I reword it better? Hold on. We know, well, how old is... We know there's not a... I don't think there's a large age gap between Ushio and Mio. And we know that Ushio and Shinpei are basically the same age. This all could be translation stuff. We could rewatch with official translations and be like, much easier. But we know there's not too much of an age gap between the girls. Hold on. Where There's not that much age. And if I'm gonna guess, she has 3 fingers up. She's 3 years old, right? There's not that much age between these two. Right here, I put Ushio maybe 3 or 4, and Mio's possibly maybe 2, 1 or 2. She's older than 1, possibly 2. And Ushio could be like 3, 4, or 5. There's not that much time in between their ages. So if I gauge Mio can't be no more than 14. That's how much I'm gauging, like Mio's like 14 or something. First year of high school, or maybe last year of middle school, 13 or 14. She doesn't seem older. So at that point, Shinpei's like 17, 18 maybe. At that point, maybe he left the island for college, or maybe he left the island because he's not planning on staying here. He was coming for the funeral and he was gonna go back. So he's independent. He could not even be in school. He could just be working, really. 2 years. Shinpei's been away for 2 years.
Alan が働いている間、客たちが子供の面倒を見ていた。これは絵本とちゃう。そんなん読んだらあかんで。なんで？ずるい。読んで。
Yeah, she's either 3 or 4 right here.
オリジナルのお話聞かせちゃう。
3, 4, or 5. She's not that old.
お、なうしよ。ひずるの新作やで。
昔々ある島に。死は誰にでも訪れる。なあ、龍之介、14年だ。それだけの時。
If he left for high school, that could make him closer to 17, yeah.
おかしくはない。
なんてよ、落ちたてかえ。
どうしました？
ミオとシンペイが海に落ちたって。ちょっと遅れるらしいですわ。
あれ大変や。ほな、ちょっと待とか。
アラン、今の新平というのは。
ああ、ひずるはもう島出とった酒知らんわな。私の親友の息子でね、網代新平という男の子を引き取ったんよ。
網代新平。
10年前かな。ご両親が船の事故で亡くなられてね。他に身寄りがのうていろいろ当たったんやけど。
失礼。
ひずる。
はて。
フェリーで私の前に座って。
I think I'm gonna call it. I got food waiting on me. I think I might call it. We've got some stuff. We do got some stuff though.
誰一人信用することはできない。
待ってくれ、ひずる。
We do got some stuff.
後ろの首にな。
I might scrap this. I'll leave this up here just in case.
ちょっと待って、アラン。警察はバカなのか。被害者の爪には犯人の血や皮膚片が挟まっている。
Her recording is from the day before, and it's 39 seconds long. Starting to remember. Can't quantify that. She's been gone 14 years.
あの時と14年前、龍之介が亡くなった時。
Shadow Mio's looking for her. She's wearing the same uniform in this Ryunosuke incident from when from that flashback with Kid Ushio. So like that's the same that could be a 3-year time period in which she that memory in this Ryunosuke incident could have happened in. So if she left the island at that point, you can age her anywhere between 12, 13, or 14, 12 to 14, right? In middle school. I'm gonna guess middle school. And if you age her 14 years, that puts her at like 28. Which makes sense because her friend is married with a 5-year-old. And I don't think she's that young either. She's like in her late 20s maybe. Which would make me feel like I think Ushio might be 18. I think Ushio might be 18. Anywhere between 14 and 18. Can't be 14 because 14 years ago she has memories of Ushio. I think 18 to 20 is the range I'm guessing. I'm guessing that. And if that's the range for that, Mio is probably 14 to 16.
Asako.
おそらくあそこは殺されている。すでに牛尾ちゃんは娘の命の恩人。許せん。あさこの姿でアランや牛尾をどれだけ侮辱するつもりか。
Rip the skin off my thumb.
小早川家の3人がみんな影やと。
ああ、間違いない。私が直接確認した。やはり影が増えている。
どうやら奴らの中にな、影を生み出す影がおる。
違うな。私の知っている影とは。この島で何が起きている？
さあよ、見当もつかない。
こういうのはどうだ？小早川しおりが溺れたのは事故ではなく、影に襲われた。影はしおりを殺して消し去るが、しおりの影は溺れたか弱い少女を演じ、小舟美代に救助された。
その後、駆けつけた両親を殺害し、影と入れ替えた。お前、泣いてんのか？明日は雪降ら。
真夏に雪など降るか？降るなら雨だろ。だが天気予報では明日は快晴だ。情報弱者め。
こいつは
私の2台目の携帯電話だ。もしそれが鳴ったら私に知らせろ。あなたに頼みたいことがある。
I don't know. I can't think of anything else. I've racked my brain. I've totally racked my brain on this. I've totally racked my brain. Do you have any ideas, 5N? Awfully quiet.
自分そっくりの女の子を見たんやって。気ぃつけな。それ影っていうお化けかもわからん。もしまたその子が現れても絶対近づいたらあかん。ええか？状況を再現すると、やはり小早川しおりは俺に手を出してこない。1時過ぎ出棺。いいぞ、うまくやってる。
ねえ、新平くん？
Yeah, he literally says, like, in a sentence before, Shiori never really approached me, and then all of a sudden he gets approached.
新平くん？
いや、はい、ミオが小さい頃、おばあちゃんから聞いたとかで、すみません、変なこと言うてしもて。
朝子、行こうか。
そんな。3人とも影。本物の3人はすでに。どこにいるんですか、南雲先生。どんどん手遅れになる。
しんちゃん
One behind one episode. I've ran this episode so many times. There's no way you're behind.
お前、昨日履いてたパンツって白か？
2年ぶりに帰ってきて最初に聞くことがそれ。
お前の昨日のパンツの色を真剣に知りたいんや。
I'm really curious on how old they are.
影見のパンツは白。
What really shocked me is Love After World Domination. I finally caught up on that. The whole time I'm thinking that they're in their 20s and they're high school kids. It was so like, it was very sobering. I was like, oh, for usually Sentai teams are all high school kids. It didn't even dawn on me. I was like, holy crap, all these kids are high school kids. Well, not really. I think some of the Gelato 5 are in high school. Only Fudo and Haru are in high school. Sorry, I'm talking about a whole nother series. The other members of the Gelato 5 are older.
1時半、牛尾の棺が炉に入る。その後、終骨まで別室にて昼食。気になる人に2つの質問をぶつけてみる。問い1、影の病を知っているか？
ああ、階段やろ？さっきも同じようなこと聞かれたな。
知ってるも何も。影の病って名前。
He wasn't a shadow yet, so far up until this point, the priest wasn't a shadow. He was able to step on a shadow, it didn't move or anything.
問い2、胸の大きい女性を見たか？
見たよ、見た。ジーガ。
それ、もしかしてヒズルちゃんやない？
私は知らんね。
He's sus.
ヒズルのこと知ってんのか、新平。昔うちによう食べに来てくれたんやで。
うちになんちゅうにやみせ。
それ新平、ちょっとこれ見てくれへんか。ヒズルに連絡先聞いたらこんなもん渡されてよ。私には意味がさっぱりやねん。
連絡先。
Rewinding.
なんちゅ
うちにヒズルのこと知って
You know Hizuru Shinpei? She used to eat at our restaurant often.
うちになんちゅうにやみせ。
He had no idea.
新平、ちょっとこれ見てくれへんか。ヒズルに連絡先聞いたらこんなもん渡されてよ。私には意味がさっぱりやねん。
連絡先、南雲先生の。これは。
すまん、新平。ちょっとトイレや。
この暗号は南雲先生の漂着に出てくる解けない暗号、タマムシュット。
Is that a handicap? Is that a handicap accessible urinal? I've never seen that in my life. That is a handicap accessible urinal. I've never seen that. How does that work if you're handicapped but you still want to use a urinal? Huh.
もしもし、南雲先生ですか？
誰や、お前。
南雲先生じゃない。網代新平と言います。あなた。
There's a few lines in here that aren't translated. Like he introduces himself and they don't translate that, but if you know a little bit of Japanese, he's introducing himself. He's saying, "My name is Shinpei." He says, "My name is whatever his last name is, Shinpei." They also did that with the priests earlier in the episode where I thought the whole thing was just what he was saying and they just cut away and just let him keep talking, but I feel like he was saying something else and they just didn't translate it. Excuse me.
もし
What time was it on this phone call? It's supposed to be after 1:30. Yeah, it's almost 2. Okay.
動くな。かかしみたいにそこにじっと立ってやよ。すぐ終わるさき。
Yeah. Let me start this.
時間、場所。襲うならアランが一人になる時だ。17パターン想定。
Hizuru's recording that she's listening to and recording for herself is dated 7/21 and it's 39 seconds long. So it's not that long of a message. But so far we've had a couple of different instances of sorry, I'm reading something. A couple of different instances of her mentioning the fact of not listening to messages and messages containing certain things. Like her message, whatever that 39-second message is, whoever it's from, mentions Shinpei by name, and she's reluctant to believe it until he shows up in the flesh right now and is able to fulfill every requirement that would ease her. So I don't know.
あの暗号の鍵になる
I don't know.
作者南雲龍之介とその本名や。だがヒズルはわし以外の誰にも自分が南雲龍之介やと明かしてへん。つまりこの携帯に電話をかけられんのはヒズルをコピーした影しかありえへん。
だが君は人間だ。
Can I say again?
この携帯に電話をかけられんのはヒズルをコピーしたか。つまり誰にも南雲龍之介とその本名や。なる単語は2つ。
There are two main words to crack the code, namely Nagumo Ryunosuke and her real name. But Hizuru referred to herself as Nagumo Ryunosuke only to me. That means the possibility is that one who can call his phone is just a shadow who had copied Hizuru. Make it make sense, subtitles. I'm trying. Eventually you would have had to know her real name, right? There's no way like a shadow could have copied Hizuru and not have had the information it takes to call this phone, right? And how would he be able to get in contact with her? I'm starting to ask questions now. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm starting to like ask questions. Like, how would he have known? Like the vetting process makes sense, but how could she have trusted him? That's a question. How could Hizuru have trusted him? Why? Outside of his knowledge for the shadow people. Once again, she gonna knock herself out.
つまりファンです。先生の出された本全部持ってません。言われた通りに名乗ったぞ。俯瞰的に見てもかなりキモくなってしまったが。さあどうなる？
こ この状況で君は普通じゃないね。事実は小説よりもきなりとバイロンは言った。私はロマン主義ではないが、あらゆる可能性を干渉してもこの結論に到達するのだ。
Say again? I'm not much of a challenger, but after thinking about it a lot, I finally found my conclusion. If there is something wrong with my words, please correct me. Yes. Didn't recognize me on the ship this morning, right? There's no way you know my real identity other than myself. I still haven't introduced myself to you. This isn't the first time you've repeated today, July 22nd. You've done it over and over again, haven't you? Like, she's saying there's no way you would know my real identity unless I told you.
君は今日7月22日を体験するのが初めてではない。何度も繰り返しているのではなかろうか。つまり君はタイムトラベラーだ。
Oh my gosh. The show. This show. Oh. This freaking show. I am tired. It's 9 o'clock. We done did it again. Spent a couple hours freaking talking about this show. Like, I've done more talking about this show than Odd Taxi and Sunny Boy. And I talked a lot about those shows. Like, those Odd Taxi streams, how long are those joints? We were just filling this board up, man. And then Sunny Boy, I didn't have the board yet. It was just nothing but Discord messages every week. It's crazy. We got some pertinent information. I still don't like the beginning of the episode with them using the same exact animation. Me and Wushan are on the same chain of thought, where there's a chance that the beginning of this episode is all the second run, and up until you get Ushio's footsteps on the beach directly in the middle of the episode. It's like not even a mistake. Like, if you find the spot in the sand where she's walking, it is literally like this part double this timer, and you have the end of the episode. It's literally the middle of the episode. So like, there's a good argument that the beginning of this episode is just establishing what Hizuru does during the 22nd, during those like what she's doing, and everything past the footsteps is picking up at the end of last episode. That's what, to me, that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is just picking up right where we left off. It makes me feel like what we watched was the second run, but from her point of view. That's what it makes me feel like. It makes me feel like we watched that second run or the third run. It makes me feel like we watched that run from her point of view, what she did at the funeral and what she set up. So now that we know, outside of run 1, which is episode 1, every subsequent run after run 1, she has gone through this and set everything up so that if Shinpei is supposed to be this person in her recording, if he were to reach out to her, she would be able to figure this out. I'm leaning towards this because at the end of episode 5, when everything is like hitting the fan at the end of the festival, she's like, dang it, I believed the message too late. As if everything we saw at the beginning of this episode was given to her And because Shinpei never came to her and introduced himself as, I'm Shinpei, X, Y, and Z, she never had anything to firmly grasp onto. Therefore, she's just playing it as it comes. And we end up not seeing what happens to her and then seeing what happens to her at the festival. And it's just like, okay, eventually Shinpei's going to get to a point where he can just speed run to her, introduce himself to her, get her on his side, and then we can formulate a plan. It's kind of like it's kind of like vibing off of Edge of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise movie, Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt movie, where where Tom Cruise gains the ability to return by death. He has this conflict with this alien being and kills it. It's like blood gets on him and it melts him, but then he wakes back up at this checkpoint. And he wakes back up and he just keeps reliving and reliving and reliving and reliving, like Subaru style. That it's based on an old manga as well. Yeah. So it's like I'm kind of on that. So it got to the point where he's like hundreds of runs in with Emily Blunt's character. I can't remember her name, but she's like the savior of the war. Like she was able to all you need is kill. Yeah. It's just like she's like the savior of the war, all this stuff, etc., etc. And she's like this amazing warrior. And you come to find out that she used to loop too. She looped too. And she got to a point where she ended her loop and continued going on and continued living. Like she broke her loop. And now someone else ended up looping after her. So it's like now he's to the point of she has information that he doesn't, and he just has to speed run everything so that he can introduce himself to her, tell her information that would instantly get her on her side. Like, oh my goodness, this guy's going through the same thing I went through. I can fully trust him. And it's just like, I feel like this possibly could be the case. I'm slowly letting go of that. But I think it's something similar. I do think it's something similar in which there's so many different variables and she has information. However she's getting this information about future individuals or future events or things that are happening, and she's skeptical. But if certain people said something to her, she'd believe it. And it just takes for that certain someone. And I think right now at the end of this episode, we finally gotten to the point where, all right, we have a set in stone path that if we do this and get the faster we can get to her, the easier we can make this, the more we can kind of game plan. But the whole thing is, he doesn't have the luxury of having he doesn't have the luxury of having a fixed point that he can reset to. His point is constantly moving. So like my whole big point was that Shinpei might end up dying and his reset point be after the Shiori conversation. But now since he's set in stone that I'm going to have the Shiori conversation no matter what, he's kind of circumvented getting copied at the funeral, so that eliminates that barrier for getting copied. Now the whole thing is, say if he dies a few more times, will he get will he get locked into the Hizuru path, or will he go on the Hizuru path, get on her side, somehow, some way die, reset, and somehow he's not on the Hizuru path anymore, and he has to try to work his way back, and it's harder. And see, I don't know, having his point move, I feel like that's a weird thing. His point is constantly moving, but it's seemingly moving along a certain path. It's moving. the whole thing is I don't know which run it's following. Like, are we resetting off of run 2? Are we resetting off of... So, all right. So for his resets, what I'm starting to think the case is so run 1, he wakes up in her chest, goes through everything, dies. Wakes back up in her chest, and then continues moving forward, goes forward, dies again. He wakes up on the dock this time. Because he woke up in her chest on the previous run before waking up on the dock, next run that already happens. So then we move forward, he keeps going forward, we go further, we get to the he wakes up in her chest. That first run, episode 1, she flies off the dock. Second run, he stops her. So now on the third run, when he resets on the dock, he stops her again. Like, he chooses to stop her again. And then fourth run, when he wakes up on the hill, because on the third run he stopped her, that happens. And then we move forward from there. So now say if he reset on the hill, say if he dies again, next time he resets in his room getting ready for the funeral. That would have meant that because he stopped her in run 4, like say for run 5, he wakes up in his room. That means he stopped her on run 4. He flew into the water, walked up the hill, had the conversation. She overheard the conversation. Hizuru overheard the conversation. Now he's in his room. So now from run 5 moving forward, he decides to have the conversation with Shiori again. Go through everything like we've seen so far in this episode. He directly copies this episode again. So he dies on run 5, comes back for run 6. His reset point is after the Shiori conversation. So because in run 5 he talked to Shiori, upon resetting for run 6, he talked to Shiori already. Now he just needs to make sure he goes through all the different steps like how he did in this episode, so that he stays locked in the Hizuru path. So like say for run 7 he dies, comes back, and he's on the phone with Nezu. And that means that everything he did on run 6 is locked in. So it's a constant like each run. I guess that works. I guess that makes sense. Like each run, like what it just copies over what you previously did. So like say if we're on run, what run are we on? Run 1 was episode 1. Run 2, he gets stabbed in the neck. Run 3, he dies at the festival. We're on the 4th run. Yeah, there's a limit. So we're on the 4th run. So say if he dies, starts the 5th run, and doesn't have the conversation with Shiori. What happened? Like, at that point, like, okay, so if on run 5, if he doesn't have the Shiori conversation, goes forward, dies, run 6, he resets after the Shiori conversation that should have happened. He wouldn't have had the conversation with her. Therefore, he probably gets copied at the funeral, and there's no stopping that. Maybe. I don't know. I'm guessing it's just like whatever happened the last run, that's exactly what's going to carry forward. I guess so. Man, oh man. I've talked myself into a headache. All right. This recording is 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'm probably not gonna edit it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a community post possibly, and I'm gonna upload this. Well, first I'm gonna probably upload this discussion. It'll probably be pointless. Well, I'll just like tag the Discord in like the comment section or something, saying like if you wanted to follow the direct conversation that was happening in this stream, it's above this point, and I'll mark it in the Discord or something. So I'll probably upload it as an unlisted stream. You know what? It still might get copyright though. It 100% would get copyrighted because I think it would get copyright because you can hear the episode. Who knows? Yeah, possibly. We'll see. If I unlisted and it just gets like copyright claimed, like all the old Tower of God streams that I re-uploaded, if it's just something like that, I'll just eat that. Whatever. I don't care. It's unlisted. I'm not gonna make a profit off of it anyways. I'm kind of just like I'm uploading it unlisted so that this conversation is somewhere, and I'll link the stream in the episode live stream in the chat or something, saying like full discussion, everything we talked about after the episode. So it's like whoever does stick around to the end of those streams and is like, here's like, oh, Discord, but they don't want to join the Discord, they still can get the conversation. So that's what I'll probably do. I'll upload it unlisted. Hopefully it doesn't get a copyright strike. If it gets a strike, I'll be upset. But if it just gets claimed, it might get claimed or it might get blocked worldwide. If it gets claimed, I'll just leave it up. If it gets blocked worldwide, I'll take it down. If it gets a strike, I'll just be pissed off. But hopefully it can go up. I'll leave it unlisted. And I'll make a community post stating that I might end up doing this for everything that we do in the Discord. Like if this is something that actually could work, all these rewatches that we end up doing, like for Spy Family, I should do them for Aoashi too, but I don't. Spy Family, for this, for anything else that we do them, I might do that. Start like uploading them unlisted, and then just linking them in the description or the comments for that. That's the plan. We'll just see. We'll see. I'll get this converted to an MP4. Yeah. I don't think I even need to like throw this in an editor or anything. I just convert the file type and then just throw it in there. I'll just keep it raw. Yeah, that's the plan. All right, we got notes. I'll take a picture of this so I can erase it, and we could do it for I put episode 9. I'm a muppet. I just noticed that. So yeah, I'll do that. Episode 6. So yeah, that's the plan. I'll convert it. I'll throw it up there. I'll make the community post, and we'll go from there. Just a heads up. I don't know if I'll be able to do movie night tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be like the first 90 degree day, so I might just be outside. But we're gonna do the streams early, and then I'm supposed to go to this event that my uncle is putting on, and I think that's from 2 to 5 maybe, and it's an hour drive back, so I might be here by 6, and then if I can get here and I'm not tasked to go play football or something, I just might do a movie night, and we do the Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and we'll tinker around with trying to fix sync stuff. So that's the plan. All right, I'm out. Have a good one. We've been here 2:15, almost 3 hours again. I'll see you guys. Peace.